Welcome to tonight's webinar. So nice to connect with you all again, and especially for anyone new as well, welcome. It's your first time here. So tonight's webinar, the donkey and the rope, and it's working with the epigenetic and the genetic memory fields. So the memory fields we've taken on from our ancestors, or we took on the womb, or birth up to now, or else the memory fields or the belief systems which have been taken on from the world around us. So welcome everybody. Just making sure everybody's coming in and feeling you all. I'm here in Kenya at the moment, and there may be some donkeys in the background. So we're in a village, very beautiful village with no cars. And we have donkeys and we have animals around us, so there may be different sounds coming in. So that is the village. So welcome to tonight's webinar. So I'm going to be working very much in the subconscious fields to clear any restrictions that may be limiting you, belief systems which are limiting you that you've taken on in your childhood, or your ancestors took on in their childhood, and maybe things you've been told that you're not enough, you're not good enough, it's not the right time. And these are all the subconscious belief systems which may be stopping you from taking that job, making that decision, or maybe you were told something about your health, and then you don't believe you can heal yourself or work with your cells or your organs. So I'm a great believer that everything's possible. I believe in miracles, and I believe there's no limitations. So all is possible, because that is creation. That is what's in our cells. Our DNA, for example, our stem cells. Our stem cells can recreate organs as they do skin. So everything's possible. And when I start working, for example, with the stem cells, I started to realize that the only thing affecting the stem cells from creating youthful cells or regrowing hip joints, and that was the belief systems. And I know I had, for example, some of the doctors' belief systems that certain things were not possible. And then when I cleared them, then I realized they were possible. And then I started getting those effects myself and also with the people I was working with. So it's amazing how a belief system, especially taken on from a medical system, can prevent you from healing. So let's drop into any subconscious belief systems about health that you've taken on. So I'm going to work in this webinar, these two webinars, to work through all these genetic, I don't know if it's the right word to call them blocks, but restrictions where you're limiting yourself through something you've been told, you heard, or maybe you have never been told. Maybe it's in the system from your ancestors. Maybe it's in the collective system. So without further ado, let's dive straight in and use this hour to really shift our systems. So to set the intention, we're energetic beings, energy, vibration. We have our stem cells, we have our cells, and the cells, for example, are very important to drop into. It's like turning a light bulb on. When you drop into the cells know how to heal. The body knows how to heal. The body wants to heal. And all that's in the way maybe is the belief systems or energy which is not serving, which is from something else. So I invite you to take a deep breath into the heart space. And during this webinar, if you don't feel anything, it's okay. If you've got resistance, perfect. It's all good. I welcome it. If there's distractions, I invite, I welcome it. And what it's showing is there's something in the background. So the work I do is about embodiment and finding what is in the root cause of all issues. So all is good if you feel resistance, or you want to move, or you want to stand during the webinar, if you want to lie down, just listen to your instincts, okay? Once again, taking a deep breath into your heart space and giving space. Space is what our cells need and where the magic happens. Beautiful, beautiful. Giving some space. Now set the intention to take a deep breath into your cells. Giving space. Nice. Interesting. I felt the brain, the subconscious opening up immediately, preparing you for this work. It's great. You've done the work already, or you've been primed for this work that you're about to do. Now set the intention to take a deep breath into your subconsciousness of the brain. That's the donkey's part of the webinar. Side. Very nice. And now set the intention to really take a deep breath into your frontal lobe. Bring an awareness that your spirit can enter your frontal lobe. So you want to work with the loops, the programs. And now set the intention to connect to your own pineal gland center of the brain, behind the third eye, just in the center. Breathing into your heart and breathing up into the pineal gland center of the brain. And the pineal gland will activate and start releasing these epigenetic programs. Okay, set the intention to almost like turn up the light in the pineal gland. Okay, and we're really, really going to activate the pineal gland in this webinar. Okay, so I need a few moments just really to go into the pineal gland and to activate it even more. Breathing from your heart up into the pineal gland. As the light increases, set the intention to show up in your system any restrictions you've taken on from your ancestors' belief systems. Maybe your grandmother, for example, didn't believe men weren't good for anything, only having children. Maybe your grandfather didn't believe, in good relationships or having a good marriage, or didn't believe in marriages. So these are all these genetic imprints that we may have in our system. Okay, so imagine, I got this image just before the webinar. Imagine that there's a crowd of people, they're all your ancestors, and they all have different opinions, but their personality, their opinions, okay? And those opinions are all around the brain, okay? So I invite you to imagine your step accepting those opinions are there, and then set the intention to step out of that umbrella. It's like an umbrella of people's opinions, the ancestors, and give your spirit permission to release them. Okay, almost like you're driving a car, and I invite you to allow your oversoul, your spirit, to take control of this webinar now. Okay, so imagine you're giving the steering wheel to your higher self. And we set the intention to step out of the ancestors' opinions, belief systems about themselves, or about what they've been told in school, or in war, or in religion, or by the doctors, the medical system. Stepping out of everybody else's genetic opinions. Activating the pineal gland even more, into the frontal lobe, into the left and right hemisphere of the brain. Really set the intention, step out of grandfather or grandmother's opinions, mom and dad's opinions. And it's okay, no judgment on anybody, but they're not yours. So don't make them your own. I invite you to step out of them. Beautiful. Keep the intention to connect to the pineal gland and imagine the light in your pineal gland is going into the brain stem and into the frontal left and right hemisphere of the brain, frontal lobe, as you're stepping out of all these small-minded belief systems and opinions. So stepping out of the system information of mom and dad and the ancestors around opinions, belief systems, illusions, fears, anxieties, manipulation. And as new spaces open up during this webinar, set the intention that your spirit drops in with your own consciousness, your unlimited consciousness from the universe, creation. All is good, all is in you. Wisdom is inside you. All the lack opinions from the ancestors, scarcity, famine, starvation can be released. Financial ones, job, belief systems, 9-to-5 job, money belief systems, the banking systems about loans, property, renting, all these opinions from the ancestors can be released. More light in the cells within the brain. So I've worked with many people who have certain belief systems about illness, for example, and it's been so ingrained by things they've been told by doctors or the medical system that they cannot heal certain conditions, that they limit themselves from their healing, okay? So I invite you to step out of all diagnosis, all diagnosis of the ancestors, all belief systems around healing, health from your parents, your ancestors, from your schooling, Now we're going to epigenetic, the field around you. So everything that you've heard from doctors, from religion, from school, now step out of those belief systems. They've almost been ingrained into our systems. So I invite you to really consciously step out of anything you've been told about your health, chronic conditions, on how the body heals or not. All the parts in the system where you're told you cannot do, you're not enough, or you need to have this certificate or that certificate to do this. Step out of all the belief systems that you've taken on from the crowd, from your school, from the religion, from the university. From the collective world around us, epigenetics. So the collective belief systems of your country, your religious belief systems, your political belief systems, your medical belief systems. And imagine thousands of people telling you something and you step out of those systems. And you're connected to your creator consciousness, your God consciousness. As you keep stepping out of old system information where your ancestors were told, you were told, you believed, they believed. It's very fortunate when I was traveling around the world and working in different countries, how I would feel how the countries, when I'd land in a country, I would have to sit and meditate before I work with the group, because I would need to feel the epigenetic field before I work with the group, because that was directly related to what was in the people within the group. So sometimes even the way I talk would change, or the language I would use would change in talking to the group about certain topics, because now I'm in a different system, a different consciousness, a different genetic system, epigenetic system about certain belief systems. So the way I would communicate something in one city or one country would be totally different in the next. So step out of the epigenetic field of your country, honoring it, and maybe of your ancestors, Catholic, Protestant, Jewish, Hindu, whatever is there. Around sexuality, around the devil, around fears. And as you've stepped out, more of your light can come in, more of your consciousness come in, more of creation. Creation, there's no limitations. Creation knows all is possible. So all your manifestation abilities can drop into the system even deeper. I invite you to step out of the genetic imprints and epigenetic imprints of work. What you need to work, what type of work, or how much you have to work before you can earn your wages, or how much you need to work to have a home, to have food on the table, to be abundant. I invite you to step out of these belief systems. The only limitations are ourselves and our belief systems. And most of the time, they're not even our belief systems. We think they are ours, but they're not. They're the ancestors, they're the collectives. We've been programmed, or we allowed ourselves to be programmed. Okay. Give your spirit permission to release any programming that's in your system. I invite you to step out of the belief systems of antidepressants, depression, guilt, shame. Almost think outside the box. Let's release all the boxes. If you give permission now, I can show your system where the belief systems are, okay? And then we can start releasing them with your permission. So the genetic ones are coming up first, so going through these. I love the genetic work. Let's bring your creator light into the DNA. So you break free from these genetic memory fields, imprints. And your spirit can step into these new places. Breathing into your cells, the new spaces within you. The soul fragments can drop in now. And you've different aspects of your soul, which they can start coming in, because now the belief systems are gone, and now it's pure consciousness. So the parts that couldn't get in because you're resisting with those old belief systems, so now you can start coming in. Big breakthrough just now. Breathe from your heart up into your third eye. So now set intention. What's coming up is the belief systems from the ancestors of spirituality about anything that wasn't provable or tangible. And also the collective, the epigenetic field as well, in the world around you when you're growing up. Step out of these fields with intention and allow your higher self to take over the system now. And your spirit can drop in to these new places in you. You know, when I was growing up, if you looked into the fire too long, they could lock you up for being crazy. So it wasn't encouraged to talk about energy or, you know, a lot of fear about being locked up, about being accused to be crazy. So this was affecting, I'm sure it affected myself, but I'm sure it affected many before me as well. So releasing these systems. Even the work we're doing now, before you're probably locked up for that. or accused of being a witch. So let's step out of these fields, from the genetics, from the genetic, and even from our friends or family around us, to step out of their belief systems around spirituality, around healing, around consciousness. All the donkeys are very active at the moment. They must be feeling the webinar. All these I cannot do, I'm not enough, I'm not good enough. Let's step out from these judgments of ourselves or from what we've heard. Endless possibilities. Expectations of yourself, step out of, and also the expectations from others around you and family members or ancestors' expectations. Collective expectations. I hear limitations rather than expectations and limitations. So refreshing on the mind, liberating, freeing. Set the intention that your spirit can enter these new places within your consciousness, within the brain, within the cells, within the DNA. It's working so deep in the DNA. So imagine your DNA strands and you're coming out of a shadow that was in them. And as you come out of the shadow within the DNA, new light enters. Your whole essence come in. All your soul fragments and your light comes through the DNA strands. Colors, vibration, sound, frequency. Beautiful. Much more space. Nice. I love that feeling in the system. I can feel it in the brain level. There's so much more space and the patterns have left. So the subtle parts of the soul can drop in, new levels of consciousness, to the new spaces, no limitations. Another opening in the system. And need to go in deeper within the back of the eyes. I can feel illusions there. And the ancestral belief systems and your own belief systems. So let's release them in the eyes. Also from the hearing. The way you see the world, the way you see yourself, the way you see each other. Breathing into your core. Energies are flowing through and flowing out. As more of your consciousness come into these new places. And through the genetic information, releasing more of the epigenetic field from your aura, from your cells. Even releasing any programming that you've heard from media about aging, or that you've heard from your parents or your friends or the collective. So releasing aging programming from the system and from the cells. Set the intention to breathe into your bone marrow. There's even belief systems in the bone marrow. And release. And once again, handing the webinar over to your higher self, your oversoul, to release with intention, to release all epigenetic programming and genetic programming from your system around aging, around health, around relationships, friendships, marriage, religion, money, schooling. So much space coming in, so much light coming in, so much power, refreshing power coming into the system. As there's new spaces for you to feel complete, to feel whole, worthy, courageous. All is possible. Going deeper into the subconsciousness. So deep in the brain, I'm seeing them. They're coming out, they're coming out, they're coming out. Set the intention to go deep into the brain, deep into subconsciousness to release all these your traps of keeping small, playing small, being small when it's not really you. Enslavement programs, imprisonment programs, capping, limitations. Judgments. Breathing into the cells within your core, and more of your spirit can drop in, more of your light can drop in, more of your etheric body can drop in, all the color spectrum. Your omnipotency aspect can drop in. Your Christ consciousness aspect can drop in. Connections aspect can drop in. Cosmic body can drop in. Your miracles aspect can drop in. Your connections aspect can drop in. These are all different qualities of your soul that can really come in because it's open. The space is open for you. Each of the aspects have different qualities. So all your qualities can drop in. Life qualities, creative qualities, healing qualities, life purpose qualities. Breathing down into your feet. This is almost like clearing all the aura and the different levels of your aura. So the light of your soul, the evanescence of you can come in to your cells, into your aura. And your oversoul can completely drop in. You as a creator. And your own levels of consciousness can drop in. Liberation, freedom, sovereignty, creativity. Your inner compass can come in, your soul compass. Bring into your heart space and accepting your essence into all these new spaces within you. Set the intention that your spirit can enter your spine, flowing gently down your spine into these new places within your spine, into the spinal fluid. And your spirit can enter the pineal gland center of the brain. And then from the center of the brain, almost like the Fibonacci codes, spiraling, spiraling, spiraling like a shell. Down through the spinal fluid, down through the spine. And then almost like a pearl of the spinal fluid opening in every cell. Ever essence and the brilliance of the soul is within the cells. And we have the power to make transition, to come out of the cells. And we have the same power to come into the cells by intention. So I invite you to set the intention to come down into your cells, to come into your liver, for example, come into your kidneys, come into your spleen, come into your bones, come into your nervous system with intention. Come into your cells. Come into all your organs in a new way. Life force in the cells, creation in the cells, rejuvenation in the cells, sovereignty, freedom, expansion, ageless, vitality, sovereignty. So I invite you to invite your whole spirit in the spine, the joints, the ligaments, the back, the muscles. I invite you to invite your spirit down into your front, into your whole new left side and right side, into your new feet, your new core, your new nervous system connection. Beautiful. Your new channel, your new compass, your new enlightenment aspect. And accepting to breathe into your enlightenment aspect. Open it even more. Every cell. Beautiful. Your new front creates with your new back. You're going to balance the frequencies, the systems now, the directions. So creation within the front supports creation behind you to expand, to thrive. Front creates with the back. Back creates with the front to thrive. Whole new left side expands the right side. Left side creates with the right side in a new way. Right side creates with the left side in a new way. Above creates with below. Below creates with above. Creation within supports creation around me to expand. Creation around me supports creation within me to expand. Breathing into your new vibration, your new cells, limitlessness, freedom, sovereignty, magic, creation, enlightenment, vitality, refreshment, rejuvenation, expansion, breakthrough. Breathing into new vibration. Imagine you draw a line in the sand and stepping in as the whole you. Consciously stepping into the whole of you. Breathing into the new you, vibrating on a new vibration, bringing gratitude to yourself, gratitude to yourselves, gratitude to creation within you, around you. Gratitude to everyone here, being part of this webinar, holding the space. We did it together. And each time you watch it, it's going to get stronger. Amazing, amazing results. I feel them. And yeah, thank you for being part of this webinar. Thank you for being part of this shift and calibration in our lives. And new paradigms are in. So new paradigms to have new choices, to create new things, to manifest new things. Enjoy your new creation, and I'll see you at the next webinar, the next part. And yeah, celebrate the new you and the complete new paradigm shift you just took. Thank you, everyone, for being part of this webinar. Thank you for your feedback. Celebrate the new you and the unlimited potential you have. Enjoy. Maybe you want to journal now. Maybe you want to visualize what you're going to create. And the next webinar will bring it even stronger. Thank you. Enjoy and celebrate the new you. Thank you, everyone, for being part of this webinar. Thank you, Sergio, for the work in the background. And yeah, thank you to the field of Lemon and the donkeys. And yeah, creation. Enjoy. Send you love and gratitude. Thank you.